Welcome all to the NewCrown podcast. I am Daryl. I am back with another episode and another guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up? Nice to meet y'all. My name's Aime. Aime Shukuru. I'm a student at the National Theatre School in acting, actually in the French section because we have two sections, French and English. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, Emmy and I we worked on a project last year on a friend of ours student film. I was curious, like, what was your experience in that actual film? Because like you were one of the main characters in that film, so I was like,
Y-
from acting
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. To be honest, it was one of my first experiences. Like I'm pretty new to this thing, plus acting in English was something else. But honestly, it was very, very fun. We had a really nice crew. We were vibing, working hard, and everything was really fun actually for my
Nice.
first experience. How about
Nope.
you?
Honestly, because like 'cause I was a DP of that the shoot, and I was more behind the scenes. So I was like more towards the sort of setup of everything. So that was more like my task. I was wondering, especially because you guys were like working with the actors, like you and two other actors were working kind of like intimately with each other in the project. I was curious about like did you feel what was like your experience like in terms of like actually doing your first you know project and being very intimate and very there's a lot of cogs happening at the same time.
Yeah, that was very crazy. Actually, it was my first time actually that I had a character that was kissing someone. And that was actually it was very, very scary, like almost as if it was going to be my first kiss ever. But then we were working with Mirza, who was the director, and he booked how do you call them, an intimacy coach. So yeah, we had like a weekend. We met somebody who made us do some exercises to get comfortable. And yeah, when it got to the moment where we had to shoot, I was very, very stressed. But all in all, everybody was caring and understanding, and it ended up being pretty good. It went well.
Well,
Yeah.
what was that like? Like what'd you guys do with the intimacy coach? I wasn't there during the process.
Yeah. Well, we did little exercises like uh, asking if we can touch a part of a body, starting with like hands, shoulders, face, and then afterwards asking if the other person can touch a part of our body that we are comfortable with. And yeah, little things like those.
I'm curious because like, so what made you start being an actor in the first place? What made you want to be an actor in the first place? Let's start from the
Damn.
beginning.
Yeah, that's a really nice question. Well, the thing is, ever since I was young, I wanted to do a lot of things. Like, I'm a really passionate person. I wanted to be a priest at a certain point, wanted to go to the army, maybe become a pilot. But then I started getting interested in editing. And yeah, from there, I developed a passion for film. And actually, I was supposed to play soccer. I wanted to become a soccer player, but with COVID and stuff, it became very, very tough. And I was actually in a CEGEP, in a theater program, and they told me, yeah, you can actually audition to get in a school to become a professional actor. And I was like, why not? Let's go. So I auditioned and I got picked. And actually, my first year, I wasn't sure that I wanted to become an actor because it's pretty tough, actually, being an artist in general. But then I just felt really comfortable. I felt in my zone, and I felt like what I was doing really mattered and was very important. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and like yeah.
What
as-
was your what was your like your first impression of acting? Was it always like something like I guess like you said you kind of answered it. It wasn't really much of like the first interest was kind of just like you tried it out and you actually liked it. But what was it about
uh
acting that you actually enjoyed in the
Well, at first I didn't enjoy it that much because it was very stressful and I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying random things, and sometimes it worked, a lot of times it didn't work. And then actually being picked at the National Theatre School was very, very surprising at first. I wasn't expecting to get picked. And it was very shocking because like everything about the school, starting from the schedule that is really, really jam packed. Like you don't even have social life outside because you're in school from Monday sometimes to Fridays. Sometimes we even have the whole weeks at the school, the whole week at the school, and yeah, but we get to practice, we get better, and now I enjoy when actually I have a text. It doesn't even matter where in which part of the process we're in. Like having a text and actually portraying a character, it's very, very, very fun.
Mm. You prefer
Yeah.
you prefer scripted or you prefer improv?
To be honest, it depends. Improv can be really fun, but in
Mm,
general, I prefer scripted
mm,
and actually having the time to like work on the little things, on the
mm.
little details. And actually, the first time that you present a show is very crazy. It's
Oh
as
yeah.
if you were on drugs. Yeah, like the adrenaline, the rush. It's very crazy and very fun, honestly.
So what's your prep time for like like first off, what was your biggest show to date that you performed in? Like
They
or your favorite one? Or your favorite one? Up to you.
Well, the thing is, at the school, we do little scenes
Mm,
in the first year. The first half of the second year, we keep on doing the little scenes. And at the end of the second year, we do our first play, full on play. And that was the best thing that I've done in the
mm.
school up until now because, yeah, for the first time, I really felt like an artist. I felt like an actor. I carried a role from the beginning to the end, and yeah, it was a really nice experience.
What was the play? What was the play?
Well, actually, we have a lot of programs in the school, and we have a playwright program,
Mm,
and the students actually we have two students each year, and they both wrote a play, and the
mm.
class was split into two. One half did the other play, and we did the other one, and yeah,
So yeah, oh, that's interesting. So like you actually play out other students' work then.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And that's pretty fun actually because we make connections, we work together,
yeah.
and a lot of people end up working together after they graduate actually.
That's the thing because like, I know NTS. I know I have a couple of friends in NTS, and they all kind of have like they all work with each other, which is kind of nice because you guys actually it's not like
Mhm.
actors stay with actors and directors stay with directors. It's kind of like a whole a whole production. So I'm curious, like, do you guys because I know there's a very difference between like big difference between theater and film. Like theater is very much like you rehearse, 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 and it's live. What do you think? What do you prefer, film or theater based off the personal experience you had?
Damn. I think actually I'm more into film than theater because
Okay.
actually I accidentally got into theater because I wanted to become a filmmaker,
Mm,
but then you have a lot of ways, a lot of possibilities to get into the film industry.
mm,
But one of the best ways that people told me was like going to a theater school. And honestly, I discovered a passion for theater because honestly, just at the human base, it's really good. I think everyone should do theater because like
mm,
you get to think a lot, you ask yourself questions, you doubt a lot, and it's very human. And yeah, but in general, I prefer filmmaking. I feel very limited when it comes to theater, even though like theater is limitless. But with film, I feel like I can do more and I have more control with what I'm doing because you get to redo and redo and redo. As
mm,
when it comes to theater, you have to be live, you have to do perform. But it's pretty fun though, like
mhm,
doing something once and enjoying it, being in
mm.
the present moment. But I
Yeah.
prefer the control that you get from filmmaking.
Interesting. So do you ever
Yeah.
have like a sort of conflict with the director or like le metteur en scène? Like you guys have like a
Uh-huh.
creative difference? And if so, like how did you like kind of solve said problem?
I mean, obviously, I think everybody has their own way of seeing the text, and you're lucky if you fall on somebody who actually has the same vision as you do. But when it comes to that, well, you don't have much choice than to do what the director wants to do. But I mean, if they are open minded to your suggestions,
Yeah,
it's pretty good because you get to work together.
yeah.
But when we did the play, actually, the director didn't have the same vision as I did. At
Okay.
first, I was like, I'm going to try, I'm going to try." But as it kept on going, it became tougher and tougher and tougher. And at a certain point, I was like, just fuck off. I'll do whatever he wants to do. And actually, his instinct was pretty good because the show ended up being very, very nice. And
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Would
yeah.
you ever be a director, or you prefer being like the actor?
Yo, I want to do a lot of things. I want to direct. I want to write. I want to play. Actually, my dream would be to write my own script, find a production team, film the thing, and play in my own films.
Mm,
Yeah, that would be my dream. Having like a hugest budget
yeah.
and doing whatever, that would be really nice.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That's the thing, because like that's how I kind of started in the film as well. We wrote our own script, directed, acted in it, and I even made the music for it. And it was kind of like it's a lot of work. So if you were to do it,
Mhm.
what genre would it be?
I mean, first of all, you're right. It's very, very hard. I mean, just being a director or an actor or a DP is pretty hard by itself. So doing it all is pretty crazy, I can say. And the genre, honestly, I don't have a specific genre, but like I've been writing a couple of short films for the last year, and honestly, been, I think I love dramatic
Mm,
films,
okay.
and I'm trying to flirt with horror too, thrillers. You probably know Jordan Peele, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the actually the style that I'm aiming for
Mm.
with Wes Anderson
Okay,
brand.
aesthetic. Yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha,
exactly. And
gotcha.
also, I'm also trying to develop my own style without copying what
Yeah,
others are doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what was like your the film? If I don't know if like if it was a film, or what was the thing that kind of gotten you into like that sort of genre? Was it Jordan Peele itself, like Get Out?
That's,
Was it
come again?
what was it? What was the film or like the theater piece that you watched that kind of
Mhm.
gotten you into that? It was very much while watching, or was it while performing the genre, the drama genre, horror?
Honestly, I think it's just something that I enjoy in general. Like, I enjoy watching films.
Hmm.
I think that I try to make room in my schedule to have the time to watch movies. Ever since I was young, like I refuse to go outside just so that I can watch stuff. And I think that it's just my personal preference. I don't have a specific thing, but something that really inspires me is Get Out
Okay, yeah,
by Jordan Peele. I
yeah,
think it's a masterpiece. It's
yeah.
very crazy, and yeah, and even Us from
Us,
Jordan Peele too.
yeah. I
Yeah.
because like I got it into film because of
Uh-huh.
was it Lion King is the first thing that got me into film.
Really? How
Yeah,
comes?
because like like back then it was animation, so like the idea of having like drawings be like moving, and it's like you have someone behind the scenes writing it, drawing it, and actually making a story out of it. It's like it's fascinating. Even to this day, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people, a lot of animators deserve a lot more credit and a lot more compensation for it. So that's what
Hmm.
got me into film in the first place. And then after that, I watched The Dark Knight, which is my favorite film,
Yeah, that's crazy. It's
and
a crazy film.
yeah, and that film really got me into like the whole acting and the whole directing and the aesthetic of everything that meshes well together. So that's why like that genre, the drama, dark, that sort of horror genre is kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people kind of
Hmm.
gravitate towards it.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, we're living in scary times right now, so it's like the thing that is naturally coming out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you done any animations?
Animation, no. I have friends who are animators. I'm trying to write a project soon that will. It's a long movie. Like, I think I'm gonna make it a series, but I'm making a short film out of it first to like pitch it, and then that one I'll be animated. But yeah, like it's very much like a horror sci-fi
Yeah.
type of deal. I'm curious though, like because we were talking earlier about the directors and like you kind of had a sort of disagreement with the directors. right?
Yeah.
How, how, have you ever encountered a time where you've done like you met with an actor that's kind of like someone you didn't really like kind of have like blend well with,
Yeah. I
and like
mean,
yeah, and how did you navigate through that?
well, I think it happened once in my life, and I think it's bound to happen more times. I mean, you cannot get along with everybody. The thing is, like, I separate my work space with my personal space, and like, I don't blend those lives together. Like, when it comes to work, even if
Hmm.
I don't like the person that I'm working with,
Hmm.
I mean, I try to we have to be professional,
Hmm.
and if we have some beef, we squash the beef and work on the project, and yeah, we leave the rest outside. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, plus once I get into character, like, I don't think much about the personal issues actually,
Oh,
and that's,
interesting. Interesting.
yeah.
So like you actually revert to the character itself. You don't like think of them as the person. You embody the character, if you will, and actually perform as the character. And so like
Yeah,
Aime is not there; it's the character that's actually.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Plus, I think sometimes it might help. Let's say you're playing, like, you hate the character, so like having the little issues might help. But yeah, I try to stay focused, and I
Yeah,
think that's the key actually in general when it comes to acting, like being focused.
interesting. So what,
Yeah,
what, what would be your tips for like an upcoming actor, especially from someone
yeah.
who's been into NTS that actually has like actual training? What would be your
Hmm.
tips as a aspiring actor, like to get into acting or like try to like especially if they're shy or whatever, they're very introverted.
Uh-huh.
How?
Yeah, I would say to, like, actually start by seeing theater, some theater, going out,
Hmm,
uh, watching a lot of movies,
hmm,
and trying to see who inspires you, and actually doing theater, like getting into school. Like, a lot of schools have theater, like,
hmm,
after their schoolwork. A lot of them have theater, so maybe trying it out, and afterwards just trying going approaching the schools, the professional schools, and asking them if
hmm,
they have programs for, like, people who are trying to get into acting, and a lot of them actually do have those, and actually meeting professionals, asking for advice.
hmm.
And in general, I just say being outgoing and just going and doing it. And yeah,
Were you
at
always
first,
outgoing? Were you always outgoing?
no, man, I was very, very shy when I was young, especially with girls. I was very, very shy, man. I mean, luckily, I started doing music, and in high school, in my first year of high school, they asked me to like rap during some the assemblies or whatever when they had events, and at first it was very, very scary, but then as I kept on doing it, I got more at ease with people, and it translated in my life, like, in general, like going out, speaking to people, and getting into theater made it even way easier. Like, right now,
Mm.
I feel very comfortable. That's why I think everybody should do theater, because I think that society right now is very socially awkward. Everybody's awkward. Everybody's scared to speaking to other people,
Yeah.
and doing theater and actually putting yourself into uncomfortable situations, I think it's the best thing that the best gift that you can give to yourself.
Interesting. Have you learned something out of other than like how to like be extrovert? Have you learned anything about yourself while doing theater?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I did. I learned a lot of things. For me, it's like philosophy. Like, I remember the first time that I had a philosophy in Cégep. Like, I I put my existence into question, and I was like, who am I? What am I doing? And when it comes to theater, actually, you get the time to ask yourself those questions, and you get the time to also experiment and see where it takes you. And theater really humbled me, because
Mm,
especially the fact that you have to try something, offer it to other people who you don't know what they're going to think of it.
mm.
Like, you have to be humble to, like, get into that zone, and actually, yeah, yeah.
So like for like research, because I know like especially when you're doing like live characters that are based off of other things. So like I don't know if you're doing Romeo and Juliet or stuff like Shakespearean originals. Like do you ever like when you do your research, do you kind of follow through, or you put your own spice into it and make it more modern, if you will?
I see. Wow. I'm pretty young in my career and I'm trying to figure out things. And when it comes to research, I tried a lot of things and I'm starting to get my own recipe. And I'd say it depends. It depends with the character that we're doing. Sometimes it's very interesting to like modernize it. And sometimes it's very interesting to like stick to the script.
Yeah,
And honestly, it depends. It depends. Yeah, also with the director, sometimes they have, yeah, when they have a whole other vision than you
yeah.
think and you have to blend with what they're thinking, and yeah, it
Has there been
depends.
an instance where the character is complete, like it's very very hard to figure out? It's like a big puzzle that you like. It took you like a lot of time to like figure out.
Yeah, and I think it's very personal depending on what's your personality. Like
Mm.
personally, I prefer doing realistic plays. And when
Mm.
it comes to abstract ones, I
Yeah.
really have a tough time like grasping it. And right now that's what we're doing. We're doing a play that is very crazy, like uh almost Wes Anderson, but darker.
Okay.
So like having a tough time like actually creating the character. But we're still in the beginning. But
Mm.
yeah, it's very tough for me because it's a reality that is far from what I live genuinely,
Yeah.
and like it's not natural. So I have to compose something. Actually, yeah, we are composing our characters right now. But
So
yeah.
what are your tricks to do that as someone who doesn't act, if you will?
Yeah. Well, the trick, I'd say observing people. Like whenever you
Mm.
go outside, looking at people, how they behave, especially weird people, they're the most inspiring. And right now, so I'm trying to look at how people move, how they talk,
Mm.
like how they look, their takes, and also I'm watching a lot of movies that are in the same genre or have the same vibe that what we're trying to do, and that kind of helps. But afterwards, you have to like come back to yourself because you do a lot of research, you get a lot of information, but you have to stay true to yourself still. Like take all that information and blend it into something that's not far from you.
Yeah, that's a nice way. Yeah, it's a very interesting take on it. Do you ever like have a lesson? Because I know like you guys like because I'm guessing you guys in NTS have like very specific lessons that you guys learn
Mhm.
in terms of acting. Have you ever gotten like a lesson where you're kind of like like whoa, what's it gonna do? Like how's it gonna help me? But then later on you realize maybe like, oh, okay, maybe it's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, theater, I'm not going to lie, is pretty weird. Like, we experiment, we do all types of things. Like, if you walk into a class in the middle of a class, you would think that the people are crazy. And I remember in my first year, we had this class called Mouvement et Lenteur. Do you
Okay.
know Buto?
No, what was that?
Well, it's a Japanese theater
Okay.
thing, type of theater that like they move really slowly.
Okay.
And at first, I didn't grasp what the teacher was trying to tell us, and even now, I'm not even sure that I get what he was telling us. But somehow, when it comes to like playing, like I got that you can you can do things differently, like
Mm.
take the time in terms of taking time when you're delivering a line and playing with the speed of your body, even if it's something realistic, like you can mess with the paramedics and yeah, yeah.
No, interesting. So, like, you actually implement it on your style nowadays? Like,
Sorry.
do you implement that sort of lesson onto your style right now of when you're acting?
Yeah, obviously I do. Like it made me enjoy it more when I'm speaking. Like whenever I have a line to give, like I take the space. Like
Nice.
it's my time to shine. Yeah. And also we have another course that is called Diction,
Okay.
and that is speaking a proper, not a proper French, but an international French.
Mm.
that everyone from everywhere can understand. And we
Mm.
also have like in the same course we work on our breathing because theater you have to like you don't have to speak loudly, but you have to project and
Yeah. No, that was
and
that's the difference between like also like I heard a lot of like people like saying that that's the biggest difference between acting, well, theater and film is the projection of.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, even your emotions, you have to project your emotions. So you don't play the same way in a theater as you play in front of a camera. Like
Yeah.
everything has to be bigger, has to be wider. And all of that comes from actually if it comes from your breathing, like working with your diaphragm.
Mm.
And that was the toughest thing for me to understand because like they make you do exercises, breathing exercises like laying on the mat, massages, and they show you pictures of your body, but you still don't get it. But it actually goes to your subconscious, and I think when we before doing our first play, that's when I started to understand like breathing, breathing with my emotions,
Mm.
breathing and saying the line and the timing. Yeah, it all comes together actually. All
Interesting.
the weird classes that we have, they all come together, and yeah.
They're essentials. They're not just giving you this stuff to make you look weird.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a really well built plan. Plus, it's a really, really old school. They've been running for years and years and years, and they always try to innovate and go with the flow, with what's
Mm.
actually actual, with what's going on. And yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. At
Has it?
first,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, at first it seems really weird, but you have to trust the process, and you see it coming slowly together.
Mm.
And yeah.
Has there been an instance where you've been like scared to do like a sort of a movement because you felt like I don't know, like it kind of had a personal like trauma or maybe like something that was kind of like it held you back and you didn't feel comfortable with? I was like I don't know, maybe an emotion or something that a character did that you kind of felt a little too like this is just too much. I can't do this.
I mean, not really, because one of the first things that they told us was not to judge the characters that we are playing. Plus, somebody has to play the bad people.
The
So
villain, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, luckily, like back in the days, apparently people were not able, like the audience was not able to differentiate the character from the person. So a lot of people got a lot of shit when they walked out of the theater, or maybe when they played a character on TV, and then afterwards, when they met people in the streets, they were like, "You're mean" or whatever. So yeah, having the fact that people can make the difference between a character and the person is really helpful. And personally, I tried to implement that. Like for me, it stays work. Like I put my traumas out of it,
Mm.
and honestly, like sometimes it even helps. Like I remember, like last year, I was going through a breakup, and I was playing a father that lost his daughter, and
Mm.
it kind of helped me with my character actually.
Oh, interesting. Also, you actually
Yeah,
draw from your personal experiences to
yeah, exactly. But without how do you call it?
well the
With
personal involvement of
yeah,
your person.
but there is this thing that the Americans love to do. What is it called? Uh, you probably heard of it. It's damn character method acting.
Method acting, yeah, method acting, yeah.
Exactly. Without method acting, which for me is very, very extreme.
Yeah.
Like it's like method acting, but at a smaller scale.
Mm.
Yeah, like drawing from my personal experiences without traumatizing myself and making a difference between my professional feelings and my personal feelings.
What
I don't know
what
if it makes sense.
what do you think about method acting actually? What's your take on it?
Honestly, I think is it's pretty cool, but I wouldn't have to get paid a lot of money for me to like go through the damages and the because it's pretty tough
'Cause
because
like Joaquin Phoenix and like Heath Ledger, and like even
yeah,
Tom Hardy, they're very like method, but their
yeah,
their performances are like extremely like vibrant. You know, they're very into the character. So I'm curious, like
Uh-huh.
as an actor yourself, like what would be your take on someone that would literally put their 100% into that character and be the character?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool. It's something that I would love to try at least once in my life. And but yeah, as I said, like I would have to get paid the same amount of money as Joaquin Phoenix and Tom Holland and whatever. Oh, I would have to get the same cash because afterwards, I mean, you probably get traumatized when you do a method, and I would need the time and the facilities to go to vacation, have some, yeah, have therapy and whatnot. But
Uh,
yeah, in Montreal, I'm not sure. I don't think that I would try method with the industry that we have here.
would you stay, or you want your would you stay here in Montreal, or were you aiming to go to Hollywood as well?
Oh, damn, that's a really nice question. Well, the thing is, I think that a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people go to Hollywood. I mean,
Yeah.
and the US is pretty huge, and that would be a really, really huge gamble. And I think that I want I want to be an artist first.
Mm,
Like if I get to live from my craft, I would be pretty happy. And then afterwards, I really have big ambitions. And I think that Montreal is a really vibrant place for artists. And I think that you can really make it big. Like if you
mm.
believe in what you're doing, if what you're doing is interesting, and if you have the talent that can take you to Hollywood, that can work in Hollywood, you can actually make it work if you're in Montreal.
What are your biggest like speaking of those ambitions, like what's your greatest like career goal? What's your career goal?
To be honest, I would love to win an Oscar. Like,
Okay, I got you.
yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
know, I know. It might seem far fetched, but I think it's achievable, even without going to Hollywood. Plus, I think
Well,
that the
I don't think it's far fetched at all. I just think that the value of the Oscar lost it lost a lot of value throughout the years because of
yeah,
all the politics behind it. But yeah,
yeah,
go on.
exactly. But still, the the symbol of an Oscar for me. I mean, for me, it's a pretty huge thing. Even with the Gémeaux over here, like
Yeah.
they lost their value, but still winning it. I mean, for especially for the artists, I think it's an achievement, and it's a symbol of your work and your achievement. And for me, especially being based in Montreal and being at the beginning of my career, like winning the Oscar where you have the best of the best in the industry competing, I think it says something of itself. Yeah.
Who's your dream artist to work with?
Damn. I'd say Denzel Washington.
Yeah, of course, it's
Like,
always that one.
yo, obviously, man, I love this dude. Like, he's very, very impressive. Like, his work, I think like his work will transcend generations.
Mm.
And yeah, just getting to learn from him, observe him, like just actually meeting him would be a dream of mine, honestly.
If you
Uh,
end up working with Denzel and Viola Davis, then you've made it, I think.
exactly. Yo, Viola Davis too. Like I have this ritual where when we when we actually start presenting a show, I bring little quotes and pictures that I stick in front of my mirror
Mm.
before actually going to play. And the last time that I did it, my inspiration was Denzel Washington, his
Yeah,
character from Training Day, and
yeah,
Viola Davis. And damn, yo, they inspire me. Michael
yeah.
B. Jordan too. Michael B. Jordan
Michael B
is
is a
a
very good
goat.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, working. I'll just. Did you see Creed?
yeah.
Creed
Creed
3?
three. I was gonna say yeah, Creed three.
I would love to voice Michael B. Jordan, especially with Creed. That gave me that made me want to voice like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's very very crazy. He's a yeah
You
an
know,
impressive
fun
person.
because like the thing is like with Michael B because his first it's funny because his first like he's been in the movie industry for a long time, but his first director debut was actually Creed, and
I
and he
know.
yeah and he
Yeah, and he
implemented
did it. Yeah,
yeah
he did a really really crazy job with Creed 3. Honestly, artistically speaking, it's crazy. Visually, I mean, the story is another thing, but visually, I think that he did something very impressive
Well,
for
yeah,
somebody who actually,
Ryan Coogler too, and his brother, like when because they wrote the script for Creed 3, and honestly, those two
mm,
are amazing. And when in terms of writing, like the threads, the plot threads are just like it's none of the characters.
yeah,
Yeah, like what do you think about like having your first director debut? What do you think your movie? Well, yeah, you already talked about it briefly there with the genre.
yeah,
But what do you think?
yeah.
Like, what kind of story you think you wanna write?
Well, honestly, I'm working on something. I'm working on first of all, the thing is, I don't know if you realize, but have a feeling that in Quebec we don't have a lot of thrillers or a
Mm,
lot of horrors,
yeah.
and I'm working on something that is based from a true story from the US,
Hmm.
but I would like to make it happen here and blend and sports thriller together, like two of my passions.
Hmm.
And I think that I'll start doing little short films, and obviously hope to get make some contacts.
Yeah.
And once I get to a place where I can ask for some money and
Yeah.
actually work in this project, I think it can be something very crazy, especially that it's not something that we get to see
Yeah.
in these areas.
Would you direct a play instead of like a film?
I think, yeah, yeah. I mean, when it comes to theater, like I I'm thinking, actually, I'm also writing a play, actually two plays.
Mm.
One which is a documentary play that talks about Rwanda, because I'm from Rwanda, and yeah, I would love to explore what it's like to be an immigrant in another country and
Mm.
why I'm here. And
Mm.
that, I think that when it comes to theater, I would give that to somebody else because it's very touchy, and
Mm.
I have a feeling that I'm very precise when it comes to my work. And since theater is pretty large and pretty abstract, like I'm not sure that I would trust myself to direct in theater right now. Maybe eventually when I get older and acquire
Yeah.
more experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think is the difference between directing a play versus directing like a film?
Yeah, I see. Well, theater is, like I said, it's pretty limited because you have to be, I mean, you can only do something once,
Mm.
and you have to make the people believe. So it's limited, but it's also unlimited because you can use poetry, you can use images instead of actually doing the real things. And I think that it takes a lot of imagination to direct
Mm.
plays. And when it comes to film, especially if you have the budget like the Americans do, like you don't have any limits. Like whatever you want to do, you can rely on CGI. You
Mm.
can rely on the sets, on the yeah, yeah,
Also, like the thing is because like I agree with what you're saying because for theater because it's very like you're stuck with what's on the script and like maybe a little bit of improv, but it's very hard to like actually visually represent something. Whereas
yeah.
as opposed like film has theater, has music, has all of this cinematography, editing, all that.
Exactly. But in the theater too, we do have music, and we have the scenography also does help. And honestly, that's just my opinion, and it's my view on theater. But a lot of people would tell you a whole different story about theater. Like m- a lot of people do think that theater is less limited compared to film.
Mm.
But yeah, but it also depends with my style too. Do you know Robert Lepage?
No, as a director,
Yeah,
theater director.
yeah, he's a theater director. He's also an actor, and he's a guy from Quebec,
Okay.
and actually, he's a really well respected and well known director throughout the theater industry in the whole world, and he's done really crazy things. And honestly, I would recommend Robert Lepage. He's my favorite theater
Okay.
director because it's as if he brought the film and theater together,
Oh, interesting.
because
Okay.
watching his shows is like watching a magician. Like he pulls tricks, and he also has a lot of budget, obviously, because he's one of the most famous people in the industry. But yeah, he's very creative, and it's like honestly, it's like watching a movie. His transitions are very very crazy.
Interesting, interesting. Robert
Yeah,
Lepage, was his name Robert Lepage?
Robert Lepage.
Robert
Yeah,
Lepage.
yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
we'll check it out. Well, speaking because we talked about it earlier. Well, you talked about it briefly earlier about music.
Hmm.
What got you into music in the first place? You said you rapped, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A rat. Damn, that's a nice question. Well, I think my aunt used to sing in a choir when we were in Kenya,
Yeah.
and every time I went to the church, I was like, "Damn, it's so beautiful!" Like hearing the voices, and so it made me want to sing, but I didn't sing that well, and I loved writing and rap, and also it was a pretty weird time, different time because like singing versus rapping, like you seem softer if you sing, but you seem like a G if you're rapping. And
Well,
so
I
I
don't know.
want
Like R&B artists are very G like
yo, that's
Usher
for
Raymond,
sure.
Usher
Yeah,
Raymond. You know what I mean? Chris Brown, like they're well known.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But in the time back in the days, I was young and also going through school, and everybody has their own insecurities. And mine, like, I wanted to seem like a G. I didn't want to seem soft, so I went with rapping. I listened a lot of Eminem music, 50 Cent, and I tried to replicate what they were doing. And
Mm,
honestly, it became more of a passion. And actually, I had a dream of becoming like a musician and doing shows and
mhm,
all that. But then, actually, yeah, I did some shows on a small scale. And when I had to move to Montreal to like focus on theater, I didn't have the time anymore to like work on my music and all. But once I graduate, like I'm planning to like get my things together and start slowly by slowly going back to the studio. And actually,
mhm,
I bought a mic and I'm trying to learn
mhm,
to produce the music myself
mhm,
because it's pretty expensive making
mhm.
music,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you could always like because the thing is, all you need a DAW, a software. So you got like use GarageBand
yeah.
and then record sounds yourself, and then make beats with it.
Yeah, but damn, I don't have the skills to like make it sound good. And yeah,
So I'm curious, what do you write about in terms of like for music? Do you write stories? Are you like Kendrick Lamar, where you write stories, or are you more like freestyle,
yeah.
boom bap type of? What's your style?
Honestly, I'm not very good with stories when it comes to music, but I try to write real things. I don't like the modern rap that we have right now because it's a lot of nonsense, a lot of nothing, like just saying words to
Yeah,
say words.
yeah.
And I try to have some poetry. I try to address issues.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I try to be real actually, without
Hmm.
necessarily telling a story. I like to be real, like going with a theme and throughout the theme, like saying saying
Yeah.
real things. Yeah.
What style of rap do you like boom bap? You like trap,
Uh-huh.
drill? What's your style? Like
Damn.
Jersey Club. What we doing? What we
Yeah,
saying?
yo, I love Jersey Drill. I think yeah. Actually, right now my favorite artist is Ice Spice. Like,
Oh yeah.
yo, I'm jamming on Ice Spice. I think like she's not the best lyrically. She's not the best, but she brings the vibe, especially in the clubs. Like whenever we have Ice Spice, like everybody goes wild. The girls go wild, and yeah, it's a really nice vibe. But in general, I love a lot of styles of music, and actually, I'm thinking of trying to blend Afro music
Mm,
with rap and R&B. Also, I started playing guitar, so it really changed my whole style.
yeah.
But it's a style that people who used to follow me, they're not aware of that style because it's been like 3 or 4 years since I last released something. So obviously, I evolved as an artist, and yeah, I listen to a lot of yeah Afro music. I listen to R&B.
Mm,
I mean Biggie Smalls,
yeah, yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
How
like
about you?
do you like oh me I like kind of similar to you. I like listening to different hybrids. So like
Mhm.
I go for Afro, Burna Boy, Wiz Kid, and I'll go around like maybe Georgia Smith. I got into the UK scene. I like the
Yeah, yo,
uh,
they're killing it in
I,
the
I love the
UK.
UK scene. The UK scenes, honestly, like American rap to me, not well trap. Like it's just, it's just music. It's just noise now. I don't know. It's like
Hmm.
it's just very catchy, but there's nothing in it, and it just like
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah,
think it's getting diluted. I mean, in general, the even with the American movies, I
yeah,
mean, the American entertainment system, I think it's getting very diluted and very corporate, and it's becoming commercial. So, like, yeah, I don't think I think they will lose their place, their
yeah.
throne
I agree. I
pretty
agree. Also,
soon.
even in terms of TV shows, like a lot of the stuff in the UK is very nice. Like the BBC. I don't know if you watch Peaky Blinders. Uh,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah,
good.
I did.
Even
Uh-huh.
like the quality of UK stuff, it's still very
Yeah,
very good. Like it's very like
and
well done.
and the Asian countries, I mean, they
Yeah,
did really nice work artistically speaking. They just didn't have the platform, but I mean, the things that they're doing, I think they're very crazy and very different from what we're used to seeing. Like I remember when Squid Game dropped,
yeah.
I was like, damn! And then afterwards there was Parasite. I don't remember which one came first, but Parasite
Parasite,
is
yeah,
actually
Parasite,
one of
yeah,
my favorite movies.
yeah.
And yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to like seeing different genres, different styles.
Those type of
But
movies though have always been like kind of big in Asia. It's just that it hasn't hit the American scene. Like the same thing with anime. If you watch anime, like anime was
yeah,
massive, 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 and it's just like now it blew up because of like
yeah.
the modern day, Demon Slayer and all that stuff. But like
Uh-huh.
One Piece and like and Naruto have been on for I don't know how many decades now.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it used to be geeks who were into
exactly,
anime
exactly,
until
yeah.
it became viral. And I remember, I got into anime like very, very late. I think like I was almost done with high school when I started watching anime, and I fell in love. Yeah,
What's your favorite
it's
anime?
crazy. I'd say Naruto. Like
Uh,
the universe is crazy. Like, and also the you get attached to the characters, and it's very well done. And the fact that it's a pretty long story
yeah.
and it's really well done. I think it's very captivating. How about
But
you?
me honestly like meets Bleach. All like right now.
Oh,
I don't know if you watch like the current like season of Bleach is
and
very
no,
really good.
it's part of my watch list. I haven't watched it yet, but I've
Amazing
heard really
animation.
good things. Yeah.
Very yeah, amazing. Disney owns it now, so that's fun.
Oh, damn! I think they're going to ruin it.
I don't know because I hope because Tite Kubo is the one that's running it. So the
Yeah.
actual writer of Bleach is the one overseeing the animation is amazing. It's like you could tell that Disney had the budget for it, so it's
Yeah,
very
I
good.
see. Yo, speaking of animation, it's Demon Slayer.
Yeah, yeah, Demon
Some of the
Slayer.
best animation that I
Yeah,
saw.
absolutely the best.
Yeah,
And
very crazy.
honestly, like I like how the quality like translate from the movie and the anime, like the series.
Uh-huh.
You could tell like there's like almost no difference. Like it's just
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I love the fact that they're really keen on detail and
yeah,
everything is really, really well done. And yeah, I'm very happy that we're getting exposed to like
yeah,
different things than we're used to. Like, I remember when all that I used to watch was American action movies, and those were the big things. Or when Marvel and were
yeah,
the shit. But right now, like whenever a Marvel movie drops, like I don't even feel compelled to go see it.
yeah. Same.
Yeah,
It's the quality. The quality dropped. I mean, honestly,
yeah,
like after Endgame, everything kind of dropped. The series it was starting to be good, but then it just, went downhill with the quality and just
and
it's not the same.
yeah. That's why I'm very scared when Disney gets something like
Yeah,
they ruin the things that like. I think
yeah,
Hulk the
nah,
series on Disney Plus. I was like, what the hell
bad.
did they do? Yeah, so yeah, I think they're ruining a lot of things. Like you
So
see,
yeah,
do you
go
know
ahead.
A24?
Yeah, H1. Yeah, I was gonna go. I was gonna talk to you about A24.
Exactly, A24. I think it's one of the best things that happened to us in the last 10 years because they are playing wildly. Like, did you see everyone everywhere at once?
All at once. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a game changer for me because I was sick and tired of theaters and movies. And when I saw the movies, I was like, damn, finally something genuine, something, yeah.
Well, the thing is, because like independent filmmaking has always been like the best thing. Because now there's no longer mid tier. Now it's all like
Yeah.
independent or studio. And I feel
Hmm.
like because if it's independent, you have a lot more freedom to do whatever you want. Whereas studio obviously is a bunch of corporate stuff, like the behind the
Yeah.
scenes and all this stuff. So A24 allows for that. But I hope like A24 is growing, so it's only a matter of time before they end up being the next corporation.
Obviously, yeah, and they're probably going to lose their way. But I hope, I would love to see something like A24, but in Quebec.
The thing is though, because that's the problem. That's the thing I also want to add in with because with NewCrown with my studio company, I kind of
Uh-huh.
want to bring um notoriety to our film scene because Canada is very like limited in terms of the film scene. It's where like documentaries and like that's it. But like every single movie show is being shot here in Canada, either in Vancouver, in Toronto, and everybody being like somewhere in Alberta. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
so like
And the animation and VFX and editing, they're doing it over here. I mean, we have the resources, but
yeah.
we cannot afford the resources that we have here. The big budget blockbuster American movies they're doing here. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy though. Don't you think so?
yeah, it makes no sense because at the same time you could make so many like you could make your own Hollywood here, which is better because it's in house. So
Yeah,
like you don't have to like get permission from a bigger like an American corporation. You have your own film, but the thing is we won't get out of our own way, so that
yeah, true.
we can film our own stuff. It's like
But the thing is, I think that we don't have the audience to like actually support the budget.
well, I
We
mean,
it's
Nollywood and Bollywood didn't start off as like a big thing. Like it's
Yeah,
massive
yeah,
now, but
I mean, in Nigeria, like they have a huge population in India too.
yeah.
But the thing is, in Quebec, like we're not a lot of people. Like,
The thing is
but
about yeah, the thing is about the unique about Canada though is because we have both the U.S. and the European influence because we have
hmm
Quebec with the French language with like France and like Belgium and all that stuff and like even like England low key because Canada
hmm
is like their colony.
yeah,
We could have like a bunch of European influence and not to mention because we're neighbors with the U.S. We have their
hmm
audience, so we could have actually have a lot more potential, but we just I don't know we
yeah,
don't.
that's true. But actually, I was thinking more in terms of theatrical releases. Like, if
Mm,
you release a movie at the theater, like you wouldn't have a lot of people watching it because like we're just not a lot in
yeah.
Canada. But I actually have faith with the streaming industry. Like, since everybody in the world could have access to it, I think we have a chance. We have something to work with here.
Yeah. It's just the quality. We need to actually have someone make something good and not just because the thing is, I was talking about my other film friends because I was like, it's perfect because you're like kind of an actress. You could actually talk about the stuff. Like the film that we usually portray here, especially in Quebec, is very like artsy. Very like
Hmm
niche films,
hmm
and like like unfortunately we can't sell that because it's very niche. So it's better to have like something commercialized than like not
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true, especially that whenever they make a movie here, because they know that actually, like I think that Quebec movies last like 1 week in the theaters. Like that's ridiculous. And knowing that they're probably going to lose money, that like they try to make the most commercial thing that they can make, and they try to get the biggest actors that they can have. So like the little artists like me that are trying to like make a name for ourselves, like it's a hell, it's a shit show. Like you don't have the place, you don't have the resources necessary. So that's why I'm trying to do my own thing, and I'm actually glad that you too you're starting to do your own thing. And something that I actually like to tell myself to motivate myself is that all the big names, all the big companies that we have right now, like as you say, they started small.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm curious to see how you're going to be in the next 20 years or how I'm going to be. Like, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like we have to actually work together to have like I feel like nowadays it's very much a competition instead of like a collaboration, which I feel like film is the whole point of it. Is a collaboration. You have to collaborate every department and work together to make an ensemble product. Like it like
Yeah.
there's music, there's acting, there's art department, there's camera, there's the editing, there's all of this and like yet we often like try to be competitive with one another and try to be like it's good to be competitive because it pushes you to be best of the best, but at the same time
Mhm.
it's you should have like a collaboration where everyone has their strengths and we try to complement each other in terms of uh as a whole,
Yeah, 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 that's true. And unfortunately, actually, I think that the competition in the US must be worse than
yeah,
here.
yeah, much.
And the fact that we don't have a lot of chances here, I think that it makes the urgency bigger because like you have to pay your bills. So like I'm actually wondering, would you say that you would be able to do anything to succeed in
Yeah,
what you're doing?
yeah, of course. I'm putting a like in terms of the thing is though, if like I put 100% in what I'm doing, but I try to do it as smart as I can.
Yeah, see, I mean, would you be able to play dirty to like
Well, you have to.
achieve?
It's not, yeah, you have to at some point.
Yeah,
Like as much
yeah.
as you want to be as noble as as moral, in the business industry, business itself has a lot of like
Hmm.
like gray areas, and you have to play in those gray areas in order to work. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of especially when you're competing against big corporations who don't really care or are absolutely not moral, who like you
Hmm.
know pay their actors. Like right now there's a strike. There's a they pay their
Yeah.
actors or they pay their writers very very little when they're getting billions and billions of dollars. So like you have to at some point
Yeah.
play
And
dirty.
it's true that there is a very big business aspect of the when it comes to the industry, and you can obviously feel it here because like everything that is put out has to be a success. So I think, and they also have a system that's been in place for generations and
Mhm.
generations that
Yeah.
they don't necessarily want to change because it
It works.
implicates
It works for
wars.
yeah, it works for them.
Yeah, it works for them, but like it doesn't necessarily work for the people. Plus, I think that we have potential to like have really nice things. Like, if the things that we're putting on TV are not good, I mean, obviously the industry is not going to flourish. But if we put the work, and also the fact that a lot of movies over here rely on influencers, like they don't necessarily rely on talent
Yeah.
or actors with skills. So
Yeah.
like, like if you take for example me, I'm gonna graduate this summer.
Okay.
Like if I'm auditioning for a role on TV, they're likely to pick somebody who has more followers but doesn't necessarily have the
Yeah.
skills that I have acquired. So that I think that it's very sad. And
Yeah.
if I would have to play dirty, like I think I would have to play dirty to like not necessarily against my fellow colleagues, but against the system because
Yeah.
I think that the system has to change. Like it has to be quality before the amount of cash that you could
Y-
get back or
the thing is, because I was talking to another friend of mine where like the whole idea of like sacrificing quality in order to get cash. The things you get both. Like
yeah,
often people want quality. It's just that they can't find it, so they settle for something lesser. Like I don't
yeah,
think people who wanted to watch like She-Hulk, for example, wanted necessarily to watch She-Hulk. They were just kind of like, well, it's there and it's part of the
yeah.
MCU, but
So
so
might
why
as
not?
well.
You might as well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, true, true. I mean, especially here, I think that if we started doing really good things, like we can attract a lot of audience, and especially the fact that it's not that diverse. I think it's another issue.
Yeah.
Like, especially in Montreal, being a place that you will find all types of culture, and I think that shifting the perspectives, shifting the view, can help us have like a really interesting industry.
Mhm.
And yeah, changing the way we work. Like we've been doing the same thing for the last years. It didn't work. Like
Mm.
why would we keep on doing the same things?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We're just kind of limiting ourselves to what we know. We don't expand in terms of like
Hmm.
advances. So to wrap this up, what any projects you want to promote? Anything you want to like drop? You have any like I don't know albums or future
Damn.
plays coming out soon?
I
Just
mean,
let me
yeah.
know. Just say it.
I
Say it.
have I have a play coming soon. We are working on that right now, and it's going to start from the 30th of October to the 4th of November,
Mm.
and it's free. It's free. You can just Google National Theatre School, and you
We'll,
can
we'll,
see all.
we'll put on the link in the description if you have if
Yeah,
tickets. We'll put them on the description.
yeah, perfect, perfect. There is that, and I'm into fitness. I'll start doing some fitness video on my Instagram, and also I'm into music. I'll start recording and dropping my stuff on Instagram. So yeah, I think that's my major place if you want to find
What's
my
your
work.
Instagram? What's your Instagram?
Instagram AIM_M17.
What's M17 for?
M17, yeah. Well, when I was when I was in high school, like I decided to take like music seriously, and I was 17 at the time, and I was
Mm.
like, damn, for me to remember where it all started, I had to put 17 in my artist name. So that's why my stage name is AIM17.
Oh, gotcha. Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, this has been the NewCrown podcast. I'm Daryl. This has been Aime. If you want to check I'll put all the link in the description, so you'll check all of that out, and follow him on Instagram. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode for maybe another special guest.
Yeah. Peace.
See you guys.